Hey, Bellinghamers and civic watchdogs out there. We need to huddle up and talk, because something's not quite right in the city we call home. You guessed it, our focus today is on Mayor Seth Fleetwood, the man who took the helm of Bellingham with the promise to steer it into a brighter future. But hold your horses, because it seems like we're navigating through murky waters instead. Let's roll up our sleeves and dig into the gritty details. First of all, let me be clear, I'm not here to roast Seth Fleetwood just for the sake of it. I'm all about constructive criticism. We're taking an evidence-based look at why Mayor Fleetwood's tenure is causing some raised eyebrows and concerned citizens. Social equity, a pipe dream? If you're like me, you were totally pumped when Seth Fleetwood passionately spoke about social justice and equity. He promised that marginalized communities would be front and center in his policies. Wow, did that sound good? But fast forward, and what we have are symbolic gestures that lack the grit to make real change. Anyone remember the pledge to tackle affordable housing? Yeah, we're still waiting on that one. Sure, there have been initiatives here and there. But let's not kid ourselves. Initiatives are not the same as impactful policies. If you promise to make the city more inclusive, then where's the beef? The visible gap between Fleetwood's promises and the outcome should make us all question his commitment to social justice. Social equity isn't just a box to check off, it's a vital need for a large portion of our population. Pandemic response, a missed opportunity. The COVID-19 pandemic was a litmus test for all public officials, and it gave Mayor Fleetwood an opportunity to shine. But has he risen to the occasion? Sadly, the answer leans towards a no. Bellingham's pandemic response has been marred by what I can only describe as an inconsistent strategy. Public health should never be a game of trial and error. In a crisis, you expect your leader to, well, lead. Instead, we saw a series of hesitant moves and unclear messaging. Meanwhile, local businesses struggled, schools were in flux, and many of us were left scratching our heads, wondering what the game plan was. If we're to entrust someone with public health, we should expect more than just a passive bystander. Failing to utilize talent, a bureaucratic nightmare. Okay, let's talk about the talent pool in Bellingham. We've got a medley of brilliant minds, educators, entrepreneurs, environmentalists, you name it. But Fleetwood's administration has been surprisingly reticent about engaging these intellectual powerhouses in policymaking. Why the reluctance to collaborate? It's not like we're lacking the brainpower. Instead, what we have is a city hall that's becoming increasingly insular, bureaucratic, and disconnected from the people it's meant to serve. Just consider the amount of red tape and procedural roadblocks that discourage citizen involvement. If you're talking about community-driven policy, then why not actually involve the community? Hold onto your seats, because we're only halfway through the critique. Stay tuned for the second part, where we'll explore even more aspects like fiscal responsibility, transparency, or lack thereof, and public amenities. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. We deserve a mayor who not only talks a good talk, but also walks the walk. And so far, Fleetwood's track record is looking a bit shaky. Fiscal irresponsibility, where's the accountability? Let's talk money, folks. Fiscal responsibility is the bedrock of good governance. On this front, Mayor Fleetwood's record has been, how should I put it, less than stellar. Whether it's mismanaged city projects that go over budget or allocating funds to initiatives that hardly get off the ground, the fiscal discipline we were promised seems more like a mirage. We've seen a myriad of projects with big price tags, but little to show for it. The worst part? There's hardly any post-mortem on why these projects failed or went over budget. No transparency, no accountability. It's like throwing darts in the dark and hoping something sticks. That's not leadership, that's gambling with taxpayer money. Lack of transparency, what are you hiding? Transparency isn't just a buzzword, it's a necessity for any functional democracy. Fleetwood pledged to usher in a new era of open governance. But actions speak louder than words, and the actions of his administration have been enveloped in a fog of secrecy. Why the evasion, Mr. Mayor? From refusing to disclose essential details about city projects to ignoring freedom of information requests, the Fleetwood administration is setting a troubling precedent. Look, we're not asking for state secrets here. We're asking for basic information that any citizen has the right to know. This level of opacity begs the question, what is there to hide? Public amenities, neglecting the essentials. Remember when Fleetwood passionately spoke our boo?